Welcome to Bedford County Sports Talk Live, hosted by David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker. Brought to you by First Bank of Shelbyville. And Kincaid Service Company. Let's talk some sports. Here are your hosts, David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Bedford County Sports Talk Live here on Shelbyville Now. I'm David Thomas. Mr. Bill Anderson across from me. Mr. Kenny Parker is still gone. We don't know where he is now. He just vanished. Maybe abducted by aliens. We're not sure. I think he got lost up in Green Bay somewhere. Should be back with us next week.
I wonder how cold it is up there, because it's sure cold here this morning.
I guarantee you he's freezing.
Guarantee it.
But before we dive into all the stuff we got to go through today, we want to thank our sponsors, Kincaid
Service
Company, where service is their middle name, and First Bank here in Shelbyville. Let's pause for a second, hear a word from them. We'll be right back to go over some scores. I know Bill's got a lot of scores to go over. We'll be right back.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
All righty, welcome back in here to the Bedford County Sports Talk Live. Bill, you've got some scores from an event that's taking place out at Shelbyville Central High School. Tell us about it and give us some scores.
Coach
there.
Young and the Chili's Bedford versus Everybody Thanksgiving Classic is right here. And it's kind of neat because Community beat KIPP, which is, I think, a private school up in Antioch. And Coach Robbie Davis, 71-25. Cascade got a nice win yesterday over Battle Creek, the new school over in Maury County, 78-36. Shelbyville beat Clarksville Northeast, 73-51. Coach Shane Young now undefeated 3-0 to start the season. Yep. And Loretta beat Franklin County 78-32. The interesting thing about this is Coach Davis was telling me one of the kids at Loretta, if you get a chance, go watch this team play. One of the kids is going to Indiana.
Right. That's a big-time program.
That's a big-time program, and I think there's one or two more maybe going to college. They're really, really good. So today at 3 o'clock, up here at the high school, is day 2. We have Clarksville Northeast versus KIPP of Antioch. Battle Creek plays Community and Coach Davis at 4:30. And then Franklin County and Shelbyville, old district rivals, they're going to go at it at 6 o'clock. And Cascade and Loretto play tonight at 7:30.
Okay, so you got all of our teams in action.
Yeah.
Good place to see them at one
for $10, you get in and you can watch all 3 of them. You ain't
got to drive to Cascade. You ain't got to drive over to Shelbyville, but you just do this one time, and you don't have to drive out to Unionville to watch. You can see them all right.
See them all right there together.
Heck of a deal. Also, you got a girls score too.
Yeah, the Shelbyville girls were in some little tournament there, but they had a good win over Beach, 44-42 for the Eaglettes. Right. And then they played Upperman, and it wasn't Upperman's tough. I think it was 78-30 something or whatever. But Upperman's one of the better teams in the state of Tennessee,
right?
In girls basketball.
Well, it seems like they both Shelbyville teams have got off to a pretty good start. It looks like Community and Cascade have too. So get out, watch them play. We've got Scott Spray. Hello, Helen Roby. Hello, y'all are in there saying hello to us. We want to say hi.
Helen loves cold weather.
Does she really?
I bet she loves it this morning.
I'm sure she does. I bet she likes scraping frost off that.
Yeah, buddy.
Too. Now let's back up and look at some football. I mean, it's not over.
No.
We got state championship coming up. Last night determined who's going to state championship. What have you got, Bill? I know
Page beat Springfield 31-7.
Okay, we figured that.
We figured it, but that's all the 4 touchdowns they've given up. Springfield had been on a roll, and Page handled them last night.
Right.
Sevier County beat Oak Ridge 45-34, so it will be Page and Sevier County.
I kind of figured it would end up that way.
So that was kind of interesting. Oakland beat Maryville 21-13 to advance to the Clinic Bowl. And Ravenwood got beat last night by Houston out of Memphis, 24-21. So you're not going to get the Ravenwood-Oakland matchup we thought we were going to get.
So
that's interesting.
Middle Tennessee wise, we basically just have Page and Oakland,
Pretty much.
and everybody else is from east or west or outside of our area.
Sequatchie
So-
County went down to Alcoa, not a surprise.
Yeah.
Everybody plays good. You hit Alcoa 38-3.
Yeah,
And Pearl Cone that beat Marshall County lost to Memphis Melrose 14-7.
yeah. I was shocked by that. I hadn't paid attention or heard much about Melrose, but I was kind of hoping Marshall County would slide in there. But they went out the same time we did. Speaking of which, last week when we were sitting here doing the show, Bill, we had already a list of all the region awards for our Region 5A5. And we can now announce those because all the teams had not announced theirs yet at that point, and Shelbyville Central wanted to make sure that they got theirs out first. And but here's how we're going to go do this. All right, we're going to start out with superlatives. All right, now I don't want to dive too deep into this, but there's some issues here I want to talk about. First of all, superlatives are your top awards, and this goes to the all-region team. All region, first team and second team are listed by positions, and then you have the superlatives. Superlatives, region MVP,
Should be Robert Bailey.
Brett Dobbs, Lincoln County.
Nope. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Offensive Player of the Year, Marvancy Johnson, Tullahoma. Defensive Player of the Year, Colton Carter, Lincoln County.
Wow.
We've got region MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and none of them are for Shelbyville Central, the region champion.
Let me ask you this. When we're talking defense, Lincoln County gave up a ton of points this year to a lot of people.
Yep.
They weren't the best defense in the region at all.
No,
Nowhere near it.
no, Shelbyville was.
Shelbyville, by far, was
Right.
the best defense in
And
our region and our best team 2 years in a row, undefeated in the region.
And I would say Columbia was the second best defense.
I would too.
All right, so you've got these three top awards given out: Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Region MVP. All right, then you get down and you have Athlete Player of the Year, or I guess most Athletic Player of the Year, which is Stephen Bobo, without a doubt. Anytime he's on the field, he's the most. He's the athlete on the field.
Right.
Whoever
Offense
we're playing,
or defense.
Whoever we're playing,
Right.
he is that.
Absolutely.
And I agree with that one, but I never heard of that award before. I didn't know that
Right.
was a thing. So that's good for Stephen. But I'm going to make a case for Stephen in another place here in just a minute. Special Team Player of the Year, Kenai Johnson, Tullahoma. Great player. Lineman Player of the Year, I can't pronounce his name. Javis Hall from Columbia. He's been a stud since he was a sophomore.
That's big 77.
Yep, he's no doubt. All right, Coach of the Year, Judge Ryden. And co-coach of the year, Eddie Cunningham, Lincoln County. All right, assistant coach of the year, Evan Pettinger, Lincoln County. Who won the region? I look at this and I think Lincoln County won the region based on these awards, Bill.
Now, it goes back to last year. The same thing happened a year ago. We won the region, beat Tullahoma 35-7, and it was full of Tullahoma players last year.
I'm not taking anything away from these kids. All right, you look at Brett Dobbs. Everybody, when they played Lincoln County, needed to stop Brett Dobbs because he's their running back. He's the one that was getting.
But let's
all
compare
the
the two. Robert Bailey should be consideration for 5A Player of the Year in the state of Tennessee. He's the best running back in 5A.
Let's talk about that. He had 1,934 yards, 26 touchdowns.
Yep.
All right, rushing, 1 touchdown receiving. All right, that's 27 touchdowns. He finished number 1 in the state in 5A for rushing. Brett Dobbs finished second for rushing in 5A. Great accomplishment.
Sure.
Okay.
But look at the number of carries it took to do it.
Right. 1,705. Now, you could have taken Robert set out 4 halves at least.
Sure.
Because the game's over.
Right.
I mean, we could have put him back out there and he could have got 2,500 yards easy.
And run the score up.
And run the score up. And that's not
And we
cool.
didn't do it.
And he was banged up a little bit. So he got to rest some at some halves. So I don't know where these awards are coming from. And I don't know how all this happened, but I got a sneaking suspicion. I mean, you've got a coach of the year and one beat the other one 35-7.
Lost 3
Okay,
games.
all right. And now here's something I want to talk about. Robert Bailey. Okay, he is first team running back with Carson Carter of Lincoln County and Carter Pettigrew of Lawrence County. Okay. Robert led the state in rushing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something that you didn't also see. A lot of people don't realize he played defense a lot. He was a linebacker. He could have been all-region linebacker had he been out there.
Sure.
Robert Bailey is the most valuable player in this region.
It's not close.
It's not even close.
It's not even debatable.
No. And here's some things to look at, too. Robert Bailey is probably faster than any of these running backs listed.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see him running out of bounds to avoid contact.
No, he initiates it.
He initiates contact. And, well, that's all I'm going to say about that. But Robert Bailey should be region most valuable player. And I would argue that
he should be a finalist for this 5A Player of the Year.
Exactly.
He right up there with the kids at age.
Mr. Football
He should be right
award.
there for Mr. Football. Should be Robert Bailey.
He's not there. All right. And Offensive Player of the Year, I would give that to Brett Dobbs.
Sure.
Okay.
Because he had a nice year.
Yeah, he had to play quarterback early on because their quarterback was hurt. Marvancy Johnson, great running back. He should be first team running back. Okay. But just the numbers, he had 1,464 yards, 17 touchdowns. If you just go by stats alone, it's Robert Bailey first, Brett Dobbs second.
Yep.
And Marvancy Johnson third. And who's on the championship team?
And Bailey did it in a whole lot less carries. The Johnson kid, there was games he was carrying it 37, 38 times.
Right.
Dobbs was carrying it 37, 38 times. Robert was carrying it 20. He was carrying it basically half the amount of time.
Right.
Half the amount of carries.
Well, there's a lot of things that are skewed on this, and I don't understand how you give a co-coach of the year award. And, well, there it is again. Lincoln County, assistant coach of the year.
Team that actually lost 4 football games, technically. They lost 4 if you count the playoffs. 4.
Yeah. They
3
finished,
in the season.
They
lost
finished
Davidson Academy.
7-4. Right. Okay.
Right.
All right.
And got blown out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Blown out at home.
And then, let's go head to head. 35-7.
35-7.
No, the Eaglettes did good that night, didn't they?
They did.
All right. Moving on. Offensive linemen. We had 2 from Shelbyville Central, Chandler Cates, Ian Matusik, and then Matthew Hageman from Lawrence County, and Alex Grosh from Lincoln County, and Drew Wells from Lincoln County. All right. Quarterback right here. Cordell Isaac, Spring Hill. Okay. Lucas Reed, Tullahoma. I thumbs up, Lucas. I didn't watch. We played Cordell when we played Spring Hill, and he threw a touchdown pass. Looks like a good kid and all that. But
here's your 7 on a running clock.
Yeah. All right. So here is your.
They won 2 games.
They did.
2.
They won 2 games. All right. And I'm going to look at Stephen Bobo compared to the other quarterbacks. Okay. Stephen had 1,188 yards passing with a 92 quarterback rating. Cordell Isaac had 1,262 yards passing with an 83 quarterback rating. Lucas Reed had 1,310 yards passing with an 81 quarterback rating. Stephen Bobo had a 92 quarterback rating. Okay, Lucas Reed had 126 yards rushing. Okay, the Isaac kid from Spring Hill didn't register on the rushing, so he probably broke about even with sacks and so forth. And Stephen Bobo had 787 yards rushing, 18th in the state from a quarterback, 11 touchdowns. He accounted for about 2,000 yards, and he is not as a quarterback. Even though he got Athlete of the Year, I guess that cancels out him being a quarterback. And he's pretty good.
How do you have a team that won 2 games and their quarterback is the co-region quarterback, and you won 2 football games?
I don't know.
And you faced a running clock most of the games.
I don't know.
Because you were getting beat so bad.
Hey, I go along with the quarterback from Tullahoma.
I'm fine with that.
Man,
but it looks like a group of coaches to me got together.
Oh, the back scratching club.
And we decided, you vote my way, we'll put your guy here, we'll put your guy here. And we wound up again on the outside looking in. It wasn't about the kids. It was about personalities.
Yeah.
And it's not right.
All right. Here's the running backs. Robert Bailey, of course, from Shelbyville, led the state.
Yep.
And he's first team all-region.
Ran for over school record 300 yards 2 times.
2 times. All right. Carson Carter, Lincoln County. Carter Pettigrew, Lawrence County. Well, where's Mr. Haggard from Columbia?
Yes, sir. Where is he at?
Okay.
Where's he at?
He's on the list.
Absolutely.
It's
where's number 7, the quarterback for Columbia?
He's not here.
He's nowhere.
No. The Booker
now, I know they didn't play the Booker kid like they should have. However, he was one of the better teams that I saw, or better players I saw in this region.
Yeah.
Haggard.
He gave us trouble.
Sure he did. So did Haggard.
And when he was in against Page, he gave them trouble.
He did too. You're
Okay,
exactly right.
All right, so there's a lot of omissions here. Okay, that's all I'll say.
Hey,
all
Columbia really played Page tougher than anybody has,
I
including
know
us.
it. I know it. I don't disagree. I'm glad we didn't have to play them twice. All right, defensive lineman. Palmer Edwards, Shelbyville. Ellington Scott, Shelbyville. Fantastic years for both these two young men. Trey Palmer from Tullahoma. I know him personally, and he is a good kid, and it's great for him. Seneca Caldwell, Spring Hill. Taden Russell, Lawrence County. Daniel Lowe, Lincoln County. All right, defensive backs. LeBron Ransom, Shelbyville. First team, of course. Justice Haggard. There's the Haggard young man. And, yeah, he's a good defensive back, but he was just as good a running back.
Absolutely.
And he's from Columbia, of course. Bronson Bunch from Tullahoma. Zacchaeus Everly, Lawrence County.
There's a theme.
Tucker Bushell, or Bussell, Lincoln County. Tight end, Gavin Seabolt from Tullahoma. They didn't throw to him a lot, but he's a good tight end. But Jackson Them, listed as fullback here, gets first team fullback. We don't have necessarily fullback. We have that moving tight end, H-back type. So I guess they consider that fullback here. I could make the case for Jackson for tight end because he kind of plays that role. Okay, now here, kicker.
Here we go.
Kicker, first team.
The theme, everybody.
Sarah Morrison, Lawrence County. That is correct. I said Sarah Morrison. Now, I would say I would give her a Brave Courage of the Year award.
Absolutely.
For getting out there with those guys and kicking extra points, okay, and field goals. But to say she's the best kicker, she didn't kick off. Okay, she kicked extra points. And the kicker, in my opinion, kicks them in the end zone on kickoffs. They run down and make tackles when they have to. Like Ben Betzelberger had 9 tackles this year on kickoff coverage. And we have 2 players in the region, 2 kickers that are possibly going to have scholarships, and that's Ben Betzelberger and the kicker from Tullahoma.
Yep.
Okay. So my question is...
Didn't hear their names.
No. Well, Ben is he made all regions second team. And I didn't see the Tullahoma kicker, and that now I admire this young lady for getting out there and having the bravery for kicking and getting out on the field with the men. But to say the kicker of the year would be her because physically she's not as strong. She didn't kick off. I would give her an award for courage, but not for kicking.
But the thing that you see here is Lawrence County and Spring Hill kids getting on here. It was a group effort to do this.
Oh, yeah.
It was a group effort.
Obviously. It was 4-3.
That's what it boiled down to,
4-3. And you can figure it out.
Yep.
Now, a lot of these are right. I mean, they're right on spot, okay? But
even go back to the Defensive Player of the Year. The kid from Columbia, 77. I know he's going to college, but let me be honest with you. He takes plays off. He wasn't in the greatest of shape. And I think our kids at times, we went right at him at times because he takes plays off. I mean, tell me how Palmer Edwards isn't the Defensive Player of the Year for the region.
You could make a case for Palmer Edwards. You could make a case for Brody.
Yes.
You could make a case for Stephen Bobo. You could make a case for several of our players.
I will almost promise you this one. In sacks, Zion Bonner and Palmer Edwards, I bet we're 1 and 2 in this region if we had those numbers.
Yeah.
1 and 2 in this district.
Let's look at second team all region. Ben Betzelberger from Shelbyville. Nate Zimmerman. Zion Bonner. Chandler Jones, Maddox Wright, Colton Clardy. All those kids deserve those awards. But Zion Bonner could be first team.
He should have been first team all defense. We had the best defense in this region by far.
Yeah. But
wasn't close.
It is what it is. I don't understand it.
Yeah, we do.
But I do.
Yeah.
It's a political.
It happened the year before when we won the region again, and you look up and you saw these Tullahoma kids on there.
This is what I'll say about this. We're 10-0. In the region, 2 years. The 2 years that we're back in, we go 10-0 on them.
Yep.
They're glad to see the Alpha Dogs leave.
Yep, they are.
They're glad to see us go to 6A.
Yep.
That's all I'll say. And
let's mention, which we really hadn't gotten into this yet, but I want to talk a little bit about how we reclassified. And when you read on here, it says it was done evenly, 50 teams, 50 teams. So actually the number to be 6A went down.
Yeah.
Okay, if you did it evenly, guys, how come some regions have 8 teams in them and some have 4. Our old region, this region we're talking about
gonna
here,
end up with just
with
5.
5.
Yeah.
It means you could be 1-9 and make the playoffs. These teams that only have 4, you could be 0-10 and make the playoffs.
See who's left in our region. We've got Lawrence County, you got Franklin County, Lincoln County, Tullahoma, and Columbia.
Yep.
Okay.
Shelbyville went up, Spring Hill went down.
Tullahoma and Columbia are going to be fighting for that, in my opinion. That's just what I think. That's all. All right.
You have Lincoln County, Tullahoma, and Columbia.
I think Tullahoma and Columbia are going to be fighting for it.
Could.
Is Dobbs gone this year?
I'm not sure about that, but I did hear a lot of the Fayetteville kids have transferred for next year to Lincoln County.
Okay.
Which could make
all
a
right.
difference.
So that happens. So they could be in the dog
they could well be in it too.
But you got these four teams in a region.
Yes.
Everybody's going to the playoffs.
Right.
0-10's going to the playoffs.
Going to the playoffs.
Bill.
That's not right.
No. How does it get that skewed, Bill?
I don't understand it because it's not even. And it's not even to have a school. I'm going to use Collierville. I think it's the biggest school in the state. They got nearly 3,000 students. To put them in a region with someone with 1,400 and something. So you've got twice the enrollment in some cases at the bottom of 6A to Collierville. All these Rutherford County schools have 22, 2,300, 2,100 students. Now, they did change that region around where all the Rutherford, and I bet you Smyrna and Laverne are fit to be tied.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're all where they probably should have been, and they're together.
Right.
But the travel, and I'm going to mention something else about this too. Sequatchie County, let's go back and talk about communities region. You got Community. Now you got Chapel Hill in there.
Right.
You got Cascade in there.
Right.
Giles County.
Giles County. Okay.
But why Sequatchie County? I got this on a good information of why they put them in this region. So they didn't have to travel to the Eastern time zone.
Which is 10 minutes away.
10 minutes away.
Yep.
Now, their closest region game is Cascade for Sequatchie. Look at the extra travel going on here. Sequatchie needs to be going over to Chattanooga.
Well, but that don't give them a 10-0 season.
No, it doesn't.
No, it don't. But they got
That's
Giles
where
County.
I saw some of this. You got to wonder if there wasn't some.
There's always politics involved
something
in this.
going on.
There always is. And it's ridiculous. I mean, there's no reason that Giles County should be playing in 3A.
No,
they should be 5A or 4A.
4A.
I'm gonna say stretch it. It's probably they be 5A.
I think they're as big as Marshall County. That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
They just got a way to do it.
But anyway, they manipulate their numbers to where they can, and they can do it by the rules. They've used the rules to their advantage. That's what's happened.
So what should happen to me was the reason we went 6A was put the really big schools together.
Right.
That was what we should have done. But that's not what they did. And if it were done evenly, then everybody would have a 7, 6-team region. You wouldn't have regions with 4, 5, or some with 8.
Yeah.
Imagine being in an 8-team region. Now, here on the opposite side, you could have really good teams that don't make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. They're top 4 in an 8-team region. They could be beating everybody else to pieces.
But I'm sorry, a 1-9 or an 0-10 team does not need to be in the playoffs.
No. It's skewed. I don't know what the best way to do it is, but you've got to consider not just the number that's enrolled in a school, but you've got to consider the area of the state that they're from. Is it conducive for athletic development? Is it historically putting out top quality athletes too? You look into rural areas, and it's tough. I mean, I consider ourselves a rural area.
I almost think we'd be better off to go back to 4 classifications and not have the 6.
Right.
I think Coach Davis told me this one time that we've got one less classification than the state of Texas does.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all wrong.
So if you went back to 4, then you could go back to your old rivalry games, everything. Right. And I know the playoffs would be rough, but it would be the old District 8.
Right. Okay.
You got to factor in travel. You got to factor in what it costs the school, your gates. Right. What's it going to do to our gate being in Williamson County?
We're not going to have much of a gate.
Well, I just don't. Maybe some of them will travel.
Maybe, but the only
it's going to hurt the gate. You're not got them rivalries of Lincoln County, Tullahoma.
Well, let's talk about our schedule, Shelbyville Central schedule for next year. We know what it is. We're going to start off with the only team from our previous region that will be playing is Tullahoma. The rest of them don't want any part of us.
Right.
But Tullahoma is going to play us in the first game. Second game, we're going to go continue the Marshall County tradition. Okay. They don't bring a whole lot over here.
Didn't this year,
but
in fact, I will say this, that I was there. That was the least attended home game we had was the Marshall. Maybe it's because it was on Thursday night.
Yeah, and it was.
But they just didn't bring anybody.
Was going on too. I don't know if that affected them, but then you've got our region, which is kind of all Williamson County, except for Coffee County. Mm-hmm. But we have no old rivalries but Tullahoma in it. That's it. The old CTC from years past. It's Tullahoma, that's it. And then you got Coffee County there in our region now. But that's it. And it's kind of sad to see because what this thing does, and the fact that it's happening every 2 or 3 years, they're just shuffling the deck every 2 or 3 years. There's no continuity.
And here they changed, in this case, they changed the goalpost.
Yep.
They moved it down.
Yeah.
I would have thought you would have moved it up, actually, to keep the enrollment not down.
Yeah.
So technically, the way it was this past year, when they moved it down, we would have been 6A last year.
Yeah.
I've never seen them move it down.
They're just trying to get
and
the
on
numbers
one hand, you
right.
want 50. You want 50 teams you're claiming per classification, but then you let them play up.
Yeah.
And then it's not 50 anymore, is it?
No.
It's not 50.
No.
Because technically, Pearl Cone would be 2A, not 3A. But Pearl Cone plays up.
Yep. And
there's several. There's Alcoa. There's several of them that do that.
Well, Bill, we could talk about this and dive into it deep, but we're up against the clock, and this is we're going to get off our soapbox now, and we're going to start talking a little college football. But guys, this high school football situation, it just changes constantly, and all sports when they reclassify like this continually, and then this stuff with the all region teams actually it hurts.
I'm going to say it one more time. Robert Bailey
MVP.
Should be a finalist.
Yeah.
For Mr. Football in 5A.
And MVP of the region.
Hey, I love the two guys at Page.
Oh, yeah.
Love them. We'll watch it. But I'm sorry, Robert is right there on that level.
He should be in the list with them.
He should be.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about some crazy college football.
Crazy.
And we'll be right back to dive into that. And we're going to hear from our sponsors right now, First Bank and Kincaid
Service Company.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
All righty, welcome back in here to Bedford County Sports Talk Live. We're going to talk about some crazy college football. Bill, yesterday, let's talk about Georgia Tech and the 8 overtimes. What in the world happened to Georgia?
I kind of saw it coming. Georgia Tech's pretty good, but did you see them getting down 17-0 at the half?
No.
Down 27-13 in the fourth quarter?
I know, had to come from behind to do this. I don't know, man. You got Georgia sitting up here as the second team going into the playoffs from the SEC, and they got to play Texas. Are they as good as we think? They beat Tennessee. Or is it just on any given Saturday, anything could happen?
I hate to say this is the SEC as good as we thought they were.
I think we're fixing to find out.
Yeah, I do too, because I'm not so sure we're as good as we think we were as the Southeastern Conference, to be honest with you.
I think all of college football has been diluted.
Georgia Tech 7-4.
Yeah.
All right. Georgia Tech probably should have won the football game.
Yeah. What happens today with Texas A&M?
But they mentioned the overtime deal, and I understand you go for 2 on the second overtime. But what made this go 8 overtimes is after the second overtime, it's a 2-point conversion from each team. That's not football.
No.
It's just not. Couldn't you do the same thing at the 25 and make them go for 2's fine? But that's football.
What about sudden death?
This one little play right here like that from a 2-point conversion, that's not football. I don't like it. And that's why that went to 8 overtimes the way it did.
Yeah.
I think the longest one in NCAA history is 9. This one went 8. Yeah. Because it was down to a 2-point conversion right there. And that was the problem.
I kind of like the way the NFL does it.
Yes.
You flip a coin, you have to receive.
Yep.
Just like real game conditions.
Yep.
And field position comes into play.
And that way both of you can touch the ball.
Right.
But the first one scores a touchdown, game's over.
Right. And if you don't want to lose, you stop. You play defense. You play defense. And it's about, it could be about field position. That's part of the game. It could be setting up for a field goal after that period of time, and then the other team gets to match it or whatever. I mean, it's more realistic. But
I mean, 6 of these overtimes was a 2-point conversion. 6 of them.
Yeah.
Just a play from the 2.5-yard line. That's not football.
No.
It's just not to me.
Not football.
No, it is not. Hey, Ole Miss beat Mississippi State yesterday 26-14. I didn't think Ole Miss looked very good.
No.
I don't know if, not being out of the playoff or whatever.
They're out, and they're going to go to a bowl, but I think they're a little bit let
Here's
down.
my upset special for the day. South
Right.
Carolina is at Clemson. Line's 2.5. I think South Carolina beats Clemson, I think beats them handily.
I don't think that line is not right. I think it's going to be 10 points.
I do too. South Carolina, to me, is the best 3-loss SEC team. I wouldn't want to play them.
No.
I wouldn't. Now, you got a game right up the road here. All my Tennessee fans out there.
I tell you.
And I got a lot of buddies who are thinking we're going to just roll right up into Nashville and roll right through them. The
It ain't
line's
happening.
11.
I'm taking
you come
that.
out flat in the first half and can't score early and let them get a little momentum, you're in trouble.
This ain't UTEP.
No.
This is Vanderbilt that beat Alabama. Okay, you've got
beat Auburn at Auburn,
yes.
Covered against LSU at night, and
almost
beat Texas.
All right, so they've got a defense. Our offense, when we come up against stiff defense, we shell up. I don't know exactly what happens. We just do not perform when we're playing these cupcake teams. And I better be careful how I say that. Next year, they will come up and bite you. But at Vanderbilt, giving up 11 points, I'm taking Vanderbilt on that all day long.
I think Tennessee's going to win the game.
I do too.
But I think it's going to be a dogfight.
3 or 7 points, maybe. Single-digit point win. And
if Vanderbilt somehow is ahead at halftime, you're going to be in a dogfight the whole game. And Pavio, the quarter, and those receivers they brought in are for real.
Yeah, they
are. In fact, I'm going to say this. I think Vanderbilt has better receivers than Tennessee does.
The way it plays out on the field on game day, that's the way it looks.
But now I will say Tennessee's defense should be the difference here.
Right. The defensive line.
I also think Vanderbilt's got the better quarterback. Sorry, I do. I think Pavio's special.
Yeah.
But the thing Tennessee can't let him do is run on you. You cannot let him run the way he runs.
Yeah.
That's where he escapes.
Get in trouble. He escapes and he'll burn you. What else you got?
All right, Arkansas is at Missouri. The line's 3.5. Missouri's gotten healthy. I think they'll take care of Arkansas.
I do too.
Louisville, rivalry game at Kentucky. The line's 3.5. I think Kentucky's done. I think Louisville trains them.
Yeah.
Florida State. The line's 14.5. Florida State won one game.
They've won one, I think, but Florida's going to cover that.
Now, the two coaches of the year, the Vandy coach and Billy Napier.
Absolutely. Billy Napier, to me,
they got Vanderbilt.
Yeah, both of them.
And we might could do a co-coach.
We could, and that'd be legit. That would be legit right there.
Iron Bowl.
Let me tell you something. That line right there,
11.5.
I'm taking Auburn. I'm taking Auburn not to win, but to cover.
Because Alabama didn't look so hot right now.
No. And Auburn,
Milrose's turning the ball over.
And the thing about Auburn, this is Auburn, Alabama. Toss out the 5-6 record.
That's right.
Toss it out because it means something in
Auburn
that
just
state.
Took it to Texas A&M last week.
I know.
And there's your next game. I'm going to talk about Texas and Texas A&M at A&M. Now you would think Texas
Spoiler
just rolls
alert. Spoiler alert.
It's 5.5. It's at A&M.
I'm going to predict
in the darkness.
I'm going to predict it. Texas A&M upsets Texas today.
I'm going to go with you on it. I think they're going to too.
Yep.
I really do.
And I don't think
because I don't think Texas is quite as good as we thought they were.
No, and I think that Texas A&M at Texas A&M, like you say in the lights, all it takes is getting out 7-10 to nothing, and you're on your heels. This might not just be a close game beat down. It could be like a couple touchdowns. Now I don't know if you'll go out on that limb,
but I'm not so sure Texas is playing the better quarterback. I think the Manning kid may be better.
You're probably right.
I think that's the better quarterback.
I'm going to say that Texas A&M wins by 10 or more.
I'm going to say they win by field goal, 24-21.
All right, we both may be wrong.
I hope so
because
Texas.
I want to see an SEC team come into the playoffs strong.
Because I think if A&M were to win this game,
yeah,
they play Georgia and they were to lose to Georgia, A&M's not going to playoffs. Then you're only going to have 2 SEC teams in there, and that's if Tennessee wins. It would be Tennessee in the winner.
And let's see, you got another one that interests me.
Ohio State and Michigan.
Where's it being played?
I believe it's at Michigan, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
But the line's 21.
I'm taking Michigan.
21 in Ohio State, Michigan?
No,
rivalry game.
Yes. This is still Michigan, Ohio State. I don't care who's ranked what in the record. Toast them out.
Now, Michigan can't throw the ball really good, but they run the ball well.
They run the ball well. They can play defense pretty good. I think that's going to be a closer game than that.
I do too. I mean, 21, that's a lot of points.
And I'm not going to say the word upset, but
I don't think Michigan can beat them. No, I don't think that. I think they might cover that line.
Yeah.
That's just too much.
All right.
Too many points.
All right, going to be an interesting game. The Tennessee Vandy game starts at 12 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock?
11.
Is that Eastern time or Central
That's
time?
our time. 11.
Our
It's
oh
12
wow!
o'clock
So
Eastern. So that's coming up
just
here in
hear
about an
this a
hour.
little bit, and then the Auburn Alabama game is
this afternoon.
This afternoon,
Like
and then
3:30,
tonight
and
Texas.
then tonight.
That's your game right there.
Texas
Tonight
A&M
game.
tonight.
Get the popcorn out and watch that one.
Right.
Well, guys, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit of pro football and then wind things down. But again, we want to thank our sponsors, First Bank here in Shelbyville and Kincaid
Service Company.
They've been in business forever around here. They're a local-owned business. Service is their middle name, and they mean business with their service.
Yep,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Go check them out.
And guess what else they do?
They'll haul it off.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
All righty, welcome back in here to Bedford County Sports Talk Live. We're going to wind things down here, talking a little pro football. And, Bill, the minute you think the Titans are down and out, they sneak in and get another win on you. How do you even process what's happening with them? Beat the Texans.
Still threw a pick six.
I know, but they
still
won the
had a
game.
fumble on special teams.
Yeah, I know.
The same stuff's still happening.
Was the Texans just have a bad
game?
game?
There's an old saying.
Yeah.
Even a blind hog will
Okay,
stumble
all right,
upon an acre
okay.
every now and again.
All right, so you're saying that was just a fluke?
Yeah, absolutely. Now,
Okay.
I've been listening to people saying we're going to go up and play the Redskins tough. Let me tell you how this is fixing to go down. The Daniels kid's going to run for over 100 yards because we are terrible against running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And he is awesome. This kid is good.
Yeah, he's good.
And defensively on the road, the Redskins' defense isn't bad, and I think the Titans are in trouble.
Out of all these young quarterbacks, Bill, I feel like he's got the most upside.
I do too. He's got it here.
Yeah.
You know, he's got it right here, and he's got a football IQ and an awareness in the pocket.
Yeah.
I watched in the Thanksgiving game, and I noticed the kid from Chicago. I think he's going to be fine, but he looks like Levis at times because when you're getting sacked that many times,
they freak out.
But sometimes a lot of it is in the Bears' case, those 5 sacks, and the case of Will Levis when he gets sacked 8 times. 5 or 6 of them are on you because you won't throw the football.
Well, here's the difference in Levis and Williams and maybe Stroud, some of these younger quarterbacks versus Daniels. Decisiveness.
Yes.
They freak, they pause, they freeze. He don't freeze.
No.
He either pulls the trigger, throws the ball, or he's gone with it.
And even Caleb Williams, I was knocking a little bit because of his pocket presence, which I don't think is very good. He doesn't throw interceptions.
No, he don't. They don't throw pick six.
And he's been sacked more times than Will Levis has.
How many touchdowns versus pick sixes? Has he thrown more touchdowns for the opposing team or for the Titans?
I'd say it's close. I'd say it's close.
Okay, all right.
And if we include fumble sixes, I would say it's probably the other way around.
All right, what else?
Although he has, I'm going to give Levis.
He's got better.
He has played better the last couple of weeks. He's played better.
Yeah.
But the pick six just bothered me.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, here we go.
You don't throw those.
No.
All right.
The game of the week, Philadelphia and the Ravens. Philly's getting 3. Now, I'm sorry. If the Ravens don't learn to keep Derrick Henry on the football
That's what I was about to say.
And running.
If they don't run him.
And they do what the Titans used to do. They decide they're back down or it's 3rd down. They take him off the field. Well, that takes the threat away.
Right.
And puts Lamar in a terrible situation. Yeah. And who says he can't catch the football?
He's one of your best offensive weapon, if not the best. And you stirred and whatever. He can catch the ball.
He's always had good hands.
Yeah.
That is a misnomer about Derrick Henry not being able to catch football.
No, he's as good as a receiver.
But the minute he's out of the game, you know to tee off on Lamar that they're throwing the football.
Okay, the dude is 6'3", weighs 240 pounds, huge target. And then you put somebody in that's 5'9", 200 or 180 or whatever. It doesn't make sense to me.
Makes none.
If they use him like the Titans did in this game, Philly's going to beat them.
Well, who's the MVP of the National Football League this year? And it ain't a quarterback. It's Saquon Barkley, and it's not even close.
Yeah. There's no.
Do you see Philadelphia taking him off the field?
No, he's going to be there, and he'll He'll be
And
jumping
he's
over
the
people.
reason they're probably going to win this game is Barkley, and they doesn't come off the field.
Yep.
And I think Lamar is better than Hurts. It doesn't matter. I think the difference is going to be Saquon Barkley and the fact Philadelphia's defense is better than the Ravens, and the Ravens' defense isn't very good.
No, I agree. I see that.
All right, 49ers in Buffalo, games at Buffalo, and the 49ers, the injuries, they're in trouble.
Yeah, they're done for the year, I think.
Well, I do too. Too many
I'll
injuries or
take
whatever.
Buffalo.
But every year, how many Super Bowls could this team have won if they didn't stay hurt every year?
I think the points, what, seven? That I'll take Buffalo still in that one.
I think I will too, because something's wrong.
Yeah.
There is a trainer issue or something with the 49ers. Teams that get in, and the Titans have been known for this better this year, teams that constantly stay hurt.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing something nobody else is doing. 1 year's a fluke, but multiple years, you're not doing something right.
Yeah. I like this next game.
The Steelers and the Bengals. I can't believe the Bengals are 4-7 and favored over the Steelers by 3.
Let me tell you, the Steelers, I think, they're the sleeper. Russell Wilson has been resurrected somehow. He's playing good ball, and that defense.
They play defense.
Let me tell you something. I like the Steelers,
and they run the football.
I think
Joe Burrow's having an MVP year.
Oh yeah, he is, but he can't win. He can't play defense.
He scores 6 touchdowns or throws 6, and they get beat.
I know. You got to have a defense to win in NFL.
They don't have any.
I think the Steelers are going to shock some people going down the stretch. I think they're going to go deep.
Well, I think they're going to win the division because they've already beat the Ravens. The Ravens can't seem to get over it. They can't beat the Steelers for some reason.
We talk about Buffalo, and of course Kansas City is sitting up there waiting to be beat by somebody.
Should have been beat yesterday.
I know. I think the Steelers have the chance this year to knock them off. I don't know. I might be wrong.
I mean, the Chiefs sneak one out again yesterday, 19-17 over the Raiders.
They just. Well, I'm not saying get lucky, but they've got some luck with them right now.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
And the Hankies seem to go their way at key times too.
Yeah.
Seems to make a difference.
Yeah.
And of course, Coach Parker was up there, but the Packers beat the Dolphins 30-17, which didn't shock anybody.
No. Mm-mm.
So Tua can't win. Was he 0-5 now in temperature under 40 degrees?
Yeah.
Well, it was really cold up there, I can assure you.
I mean, everybody's making a big deal out of the temperature and the Dolphins, and it's legit.
It is. However, the sample size is 5 games. And of those 5 games, you got now Green Bay. It was Buffalo twice, who's really good.
Yeah.
And it was probably, I'm assuming, New England the other loss because he's not played that many games. However, that's not just a Tua problem. That's been a Dolphin problem for years.
Yeah.
And years and years and years, not been able to play in the cold. Last time they were able to play in the cold was when they beat Dallas on Thanksgiving on that Leon Litt.
Oh, gosh. That brings back memories. 30 years ago.
Hey, Dave, before we wrap it up, let's remind everybody to go out to Central High School and check out the Chili's Bedford versus Everybody Boys Basketball Classic. It starts at 3 o'clock today at Central High School, Clarksville Northeast, and Antioch. And then you've got Battle Creek and Cascade at 4:30. And then you've got Franklin County, Shelbyville at 6, and Cascade Loretto at 7:30. And like I said, Loretto's got a
all 3 of our public high schools are playing ball out there in the same gym.
And for $10, you can watch 4 games. Can't beat it.
Absolutely.
$10 gets you in the gate, gets you in the door.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Go out, check out the Eagles, the Vikings, and the champions this afternoon. We'll be back again.